The 9 Years podcast is brought to you in association with Season Master and the Window Workshop. All right, everybody, and welcome to the Wembley preview edition of the 9 Years podcast, ahead of Blue Monday on the late May bank holiday. Thank you very much for downloading the show this week. I'm Nick Draper. I'm joined as always by the face of the BBC Sport website, Mr. Stuart Deacons. And before we get into all the various topics we have to talk about, including Notts County, Warsaw, and tickets, and Southend, and all these bits and pieces, Stu, I believe you are an award winner now. Can we call you award-winning Stuart Deacons for your work with the Wimbledon Sporting History group?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. And that sounds really. I'm grateful, doesn't it? It's just I'm tired. It feels like. Do you know what? It feels like I'm on overtime. Like the season for me started probably back in June last year. Like I should be like on my hollybobs now and put my feet up and. I don't know, having a medicure. What's a medicure?
What's a medicure?
Medicure's
like like
basically looking after myself. Do you know what I mean? But I'm still on overtime. That's just me moaning.
Medicure's like, I think that's some sort of insurance scheme for people that are dealing with long-term conditions or something.
Yeah. Well, basically, I should be pampering myself. I feel like it's a summer. Like it should be, but we're still on overtime, and we're obviously in the playoff finals. Nice. We had a Wish. We have a celebration event every year with Wish. I think it's the second one that I've been. So we normally we use the ground. We invite all our volunteers, trustees, founder members from Wish, and we get a guest speaker. So we had Craig Cope, who kindly gave up his time. And we had some, and we also do a Wimbledon Old Players Association X11 against a Wish X11 on the five-a-side pitch. So this year we had Andy Sullivan, Ray Merry, Keith Ward. Keith Ward hasn't aged. Like he never had any hair anyway, did he? Do you know what I mean? But like he must be 80 now or something. Like he was when he in his 40s or 50s when he first started playing for us.
Okay.
But yeah, so we had also Craig Cope answer questions and that, which was really nice from Craig. Mick Buckley was there also presenting. So I won outstanding achievement or something, which was really kind of him. I got my 500 hours certificate as well. So we all log our hours. So with Wish, we all log our hours. And the reason we do that is one, so we know what everyone's done, and then we put an equivalent of what that would be financially for if that was a club, what financially we've saved from doing that. And you know what, we got some really good links with the club. The club are very thankful with us, the partners like the foundation, DLAG. So it's really good. And we won an award for I should know what it is off the heart, but basically it's a national award that Wish won for being like an outstanding achievement of what they've done. So yeah, it's really nice. It's really nice when you're recognised. But yeah, we had a good day. Yeah. I was going to say for the walking tournament, so there's a walking football tournament at 4:30, which I said I would kindly do because I think in my head I've got a good brain. I just can't move my feet anymore.
That's where your brain would be, to be fair.
Yeah, I feel like my brain is like a proper like footballing brain. My body just doesn't want to do it anymore. But I also took Thomas and my wife, and to be fair, Thomas after 4 hours was done. It was a good warm up because obviously I'm taking him to Wembley on Monday, so it was a good warm up for him hanging around and being a football.
And what a day Monday will be, going up to Wembley for the first time in 9 years. Of course, it took us 9 years to get from restarting as AFC Wimbledon back into the Football League, and I was reminded of that just momentarily there when you mentioned Keith Ward, I think a goal scorer in our first ever competitive fixture away at Sandhurst Town all those years ago. It is quite an incredible story, but it does show you how in such a short span of time, how things can change. Because really, what was it, from 1988 to 2002? It might not have felt like it at the time, but 14 years, it's nothing. It's nothing. The last episode of The In-Betweeners was further back than 14 years. And that shows you how time as a concept is very confusing. But yeah, Wembley, what's the plan for Wembley then? You're going up, taking the family, got your
Yeah, so
tickets.
my wife's coming and Thomas. So my wife's in a scooter, so we got the accessible seating. So we're in block 129, which has the so they have a wheelchair space and then two additional seats. So me and Thomas can sit there. If not, I was going to make him stand, so it's not a problem. He's got a seat now. But yeah, do you know what? He's at an age. So he was 7 a couple of weeks ago, and he's just started now asking me about why. It's funny actually, right? This will make you fun. This will make you laugh. So obviously we did the 889 lounge for our pre-match show on Saturday before Notts County. And my wife was watching it on the TV. Thomas was watching it, and he was like, "Oh, there's Daddy." And Lorraine goes, "Oh, do you want to watch him?" "No, he bores me." Like,
Amazing.
Just think like your son has just basically put you down. Like,
Yeah, he mugged you off there.
Yeah, proper. But he's really interested now. Like he calls Wimbledon. He doesn't say Wimbledon. He says Wimbledon, which I quite like. But yeah, he just wants to go football. So we've got more. So we were quite lucky. My wife had already spent 55 quid before I got home on Saturday in terms of on the club shop. So, which I think sold out really quickly. So he's got a hat, the Wembley Dons t-shirt. He's got a foam finger. He's got a flag. He's really looking forward to it. And do you know what? It's like I'm probably we're going to go on to the game and stuff like that. But I want us to get to Wembley. I'm not actually too bothered about the result. The reason I say that is because if we win, we go back into League One, which is our highest place under AFC Wimbledon. But it's going to be a blimmin' tough season. If we don't, we've done really well. We finished 5th, and we probably will win more games and score lots more goals in League Two. So, you know what? When I went to Wembley last time, I think we really wanted to get into League One because we hadn't been in League One, but we have now.
Yeah.
But League One, as we've chatted many times before, League One is tough. There's no easy games. I know but there ain't. Like, look at it. So I'm actually going to go there and probably, don't get me wrong, I'm competitive. So if I say, like, I'm going to be happy losing, no, I'm not. But, in hindsight with it, really, whatever the result, I think we've done really well and we can progress.
Yeah, I don't feel like there's any pressure on us whatsoever in these playoffs now, which feels crazy because, I think towards the end of the season, I know we didn't have a great run in March and April, but I think, it's got a little bit silly with cries of how bad we're doing and the anger that was displayed sometimes with some of the results and what have you, and minority away at Gillingham and things like that. It seems a bit over the top, really, let's be honest with you. For us to be finishing 5th in the league with our budget and squad is a fantastic achievement. And as you say, losing is not the end of the world. We don't want to lose, and it would have probably felt that way in 2016 had we lost to Plymouth. I don't feel that way on this occasion, if I'm being honest. I think, as you say, it's more a case of going to enjoy the day and que sera, whatever will be. And we go on from we deal with the fallout, whichever way it goes after that.
Yeah, look, Craig Cope, what's this going to be? He's 2 years he's been with us. What's he had? 4 windows, 5 windows, possibly.
Yeah,
maybe 5 windows with a push. I think the January window he wasn't around, but I think he might have had some involvement in when he come. So he's had 4 windows. I feel now that we can progress and we have progressed. So finishing 5th, what did we finish? 10th last season,
9th or 10th.
Yeah. So we finished 5th. So you feel like there's progression. We've got a new. I've obviously been watching a lot of the or listening to the podcasts, like Not the Top 20 podcasts. They've been doing reviews, and they've all been saying like we are a team that has been built up over 3 years. Like this is a natural progression, and it's all got me thinking. Actually, do you know what? It's not the worst thing if we don't go up. And like I said, I'm not saying I don't want to win. Of course, I want to win, but actually, there's a progression. I don't see us finishing 5th and now going, this is our only chance. I feel like we've got a nucleus of a team now that actually we can probably push on for automatics if we don't win on Monday. So I feel like we finished the season really well. It's the really weirdest thing that both teams in the playoff final went into the playoffs with no form and come out in form.
Yeah. It's crazy that we're both going into this game on the back of 3 consecutive wins.
Yeah.
And it's rare that you win both legs of a playoff semi-final. I mean, some teams do lose both legs quite regularly. Milton Keynes, for example, last year got absolutely smashed.
Didn't just lose, got absolutely smashed.
Absolutely smashed by a team that's come straight back down. But
yeah, very good point. Very good point.
but yeah, so we do go into it with both. I mean, Warsaw now, having ended the season in such spectacular freefall, it's crazy how it works now because all of a sudden they're a team again in confidence, and you look at their team now and you go, "Oh, actually, blimey, you're actually quite good. You've actually got quite a few good players spread throughout your team, and it becomes a completely different fixture."
Yeah, and do you know what? I think we've probably could say both teams are going in form. I don't think any major injuries. Obviously, we've got no Omar Bigel. Looks more than like he's not going to play, but that's the only injury we've really got. So you could say teams are near enough full strength on form. So it's basically going who plays the best on a day. Of course, being biased, we've got Owen Goodman with 24 clean sheets and defence in front of him. That's a hell of a record. I think when you look at us, we've won 3 games on the bounce, 1-0. Could have won by more against Notts County in the second leg. But if I think the reason why we are most people's favourites against Warsaw is because of our clean sheet record. And we've demonstrated, like we have looked so stingy and tight at the back. Like we look, to me, I don't know about how you feel, but we look like the Wimbledon of sort of like September, October, November. Yeah. Like we look really mean. We don't look like we're going to concede, which is crazy when you think about we lost to Port Vale, Barrow, Gillingham. We looked like we were scared of our own shadow, but all of a sudden we've gone back into that real like defensive tightness. And when you look at Harbottle, Jono, and Lewis, they look very, very solid.
And I think that's exactly it, Stu. It's the way we set about games and the team we've got. That defensively, our shape is so good. We said it all season. We're an absolute nightmare to play against, really. And we just eliminated, perhaps over these last 3 games. Okay, Notts County in the first leg, yeah, they did create quite a few chances against us. Yeah. They cut open a few times. But in terms of individual errors, we managed to reduce those. Whereas I think what we were seeing before, when we lose to Bromley, when we dropped points against Barrow, Gillingham, individual errors were costing us. Swindon, famously, we cut those out in the last few games. And when it came to the Notts County game, after it was all done and dusted over the 2 games, for me, it was a simple case of just a team. They had perhaps better individuals and more talented individuals. We have the better team. And that's why, in the end, actually, we came through quite comfortably. That second leg, I mean, as soon as we scored the goal, for me, that was game over. And I said it immediately. I was like, that's game over. This is done. And there you had this strange feeling of almost coasting through a playoff semi-final. I suppose there's always a little bit of anxiety and nerves because you can score a goal out of nothing, but it never really transmitted itself, I don't think, across the stadium or anything like that. I think we were all pretty comfortable and just waiting for full time. Yeah,
do you know what, the atmosphere? By the way, the atmosphere was
so loud. It's the loudest we've ever had it.
And don't get me wrong, I'm deaf half the time, and I feel loud. The atmosphere, to be fair, I didn't get in there until just for kickoff, and I was just like, "Whoa, this is bouncing." I said all along, I think I said on the podcast, I felt Notts County played their best that they could at the home game. And I stand by the fact that I think they were mentally gone because actually they chucked everything they could at us and couldn't score.
Yeah.
And then the early goal, which is it's a great. We're going to call it a long ball because nobody's ever going to call it a great long pass because it's a long ball, isn't it? It's a Wimbledon old school.
Yeah, it's a long ball. Yeah.
I didn't see the goal, right? Because I was too busy uploading the pre-match show.
What is going on?
I was too.
You keep missing these goals.
I know. I was literally head down in the iPad, just uploading it, the pre-match show to Don's TV, and then there was a massive cheer. And the thing is, I've looked up, I'm like, well, how have we scored? Because there's nobody in the box. Normally you can work out. And I just like, whoa. So, and there's no live. Normally in the media area, we have a live feed, so we can watch it on a 20-second delay, and there wasn't that. Right. So I had to wait for somebody to send it to me on WhatsApp, and I was like, whoa, like what a touch! Again, I don't understand why we're playing the wing backs on the. It feels mad to me, right? That the last 3 games we switched over our fullbacks, which we haven't done in the first 45 games.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you know what? I thought the goal was great from Josh Neufville, but I also thought on both legs he managed to keep Jody Jones reasonably quiet. You're never gonna mark him out of the game. He's just too good at that level.
Yeah.
But I was still saying, I don't know if you noticed after. I noticed after the game. So one, it was really good that nobody ran on the pitch. It was nice that we could actually all celebrate with the team and stuff like that. But I did notice that Jody Jones waited for Josh Neufville to do his lap of honour and actually gave him basically a hug and it felt to me like a mutual respect of going, do you know what?
Yeah,
it was a good battle. I thought he was man of the match for both games.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind. Yeah,
over the fixture, I think he was the standout. And the worry for me was it was on live TV and people could have seen him because I thought he was excellent.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have a bit of a battle on our hands, I think,
just about
keeping him next season. But there's no doubt. I made this point. Oh, just before I go carry on with Josh Neufville, I do want to make points to you. It is great when players have that respect after a game to sort of shake hands and have a hug. Get rid of this pre-match handshake. It's absolute nonsense. Shake hands after the game. Just get on. I don't know why.
You know what? I've been watching the Women's Sevens on the Zone. I basically got the Zone because of the National League playoffs and stuff. But they had the Women's Sevens on there, right? It's hilarious.
What is the Women's Sevens? What the?
So it's basically it's in Portugal, 7-a-side, overhead and stuff like that. Roll on subs.
Hold on, sorry, you're saying lots of words here. I'm not processing any of it. What?
Yeah, so it's the Women's Sevens. So you've got Man City, Man United, Chelsea didn't go. You've got PSG, Bayern Munich. I think Bayern Munich won in the end. The tournament, but it's 15-minute halves outside. So it's in the Algarve in Portugal.
Okay.
Miniature goals like. Do you remember like the Guinness Soccer Sixes? Do you remember they used to have those?
Yeah, the London 5-a-sides or whatever they used to do.
Yeah, but they're big goals basically. 15 minutes, no draws, go straight to golden goal.
Okay, but they can't play. They can't play overhead. They can't kick the ball.
No, overhead.
Oh, they are allowed. Okay. Right.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, right, the women's game. So what I like about the women's game at the moment is they're not, and it's interesting. So obviously Jackie Oatley now comes to Wimbledon with her family. She did for the recent Dom's Trust SGM. She did a question and answer with Maddie from the foundation, and it was really interesting. She was chatting about in America. Clubs are not defined by what the men's do. They have their own separate sponsors.
Yeah.
They try and make sure the experience is an experience for the audience rather than going, well, we want the men's fans to come in. And what was interesting, so what I mean by intros is they all come and done their own sort of walkout. So Man United did cartwheels coming out, who could do the best cartwheel. Then they've done, what's the thing when you have to go under a pole and you have to sort of like, I don't know.
Limbo.
That's the thing. So Man City did a limbo. Now, don't get me wrong, right? It's extreme, and it's also the girls are different than the boys. If the boys did that, I'd be laughing my head off. But they also had a DJ as well. So the DJ actually played music during a game. I think the women's game is looking to find out how they can find their own sponsors and not rely on, well, the men's are going to fund us and stuff like that. But the walkouts are so much, they're just funny. Like, now I'm just a bit bored now with walking out and doing a handshake, and then no one's doing a knee anymore, which that's sort of faded out.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you remember the old days, right? We can go. I know you like your old days, and I do too. Well, then we just come out of the tunnel.
I used to love the excitement of okay, so I was a Selhurst Park fan, right? Okay.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Tunnel was in the corner, and the teams would come out and they just leg it to their half of the field. And it was that excitement of like, this is gonna get started now and off we go.
Yeah.
And now it's just sort of stayed, and they amble out of the tunnel and they line up and they shake hands. It's like,
Just when they used to run out and then each run into their own half.
Yeah, love that.
You know, and then some would do little shuttle runs to the far side.
That's it, yeah.
I remember one team or a couple of teams started coming out, going to the centre circle, and then literally clapping the whole stadium.
Yeah,
I remember things that we started doing that. But yeah, the respect. I get the respect thing. I get it all, but yeah, the reason I bought a women's thing, I just thought it was a little bit different. Like,
yeah, I don't want to go. Yeah, I'm not sure I want that sort of WWE element in football, to be honest with you. It's the
special move.
Yeah, when they all start getting their own introductions, I kind of think the cult of celebrity is out of control. Well, it's out of control anyway. But
the women's team introduced each player by name over the channel. Well, maybe what we could do, right, is maybe put a couple of players in
public address system. Sorry.
That's it. Yeah. What we maybe could do for Wimbledon, right, is maybe put a few players in each part of the ground, and they just run out. They run out of the stands.
What, from different corners of the stadium? They all appear.
And you have to
like
guess
they're doing
where
a
they're
run-in.
from. You have to guess where they're coming from. They just come out from the fans, like the fans' own club. We start with the fans, we end with the fans. Yeah.
Except for what will start happening is our stewards will start bringing out bits of rope to block them from coming on.
You're not a player.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
not a player. You get your pass.
We couldn't do that either anyway, Stu, because imagine like in the days of Liam Trotter, it would take us half an hour for him to get anywhere near the blooming pitch. But anyway.
Or someone would run out and be an imposter and go, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like
better.
A ringer. Yeah. The old days of Feltham in the CCL. We're full of memories right now. I hear that something in the CCL about, we're way off topic now, CCL the other day about the team finishing third that won the league because the two teams above them played, or one of them at least played, a player that should have been suspended. And I was like, how does that get, like, you talk about imposters and things like that. How is that not noticed beforehand? I made the point, like, imagine if we'd have gone to Port Vale at home and we'd have put Jake Reeves in the team. Yeah. The referees surely would have looked at the team sheet beforehand and gone, I think I said team sheet. I don't know what it came out as. But he'd looked at it beforehand and gone, yeah, Jake Reeves is suspended. You can't play him. So how does this get through? Like, I'm
not sure. So yeah, it was AFC Whiteleaf who finished third, which are a reincarnation of Whiteleaf that went bust.
Yeah.
And they also won the FA Vase as well, I think, from memory. So yeah, it was Red Hill and Jersey Boys. I think Jersey. No, is it Jersey Boys? No, Jersey Boys.
You have musicals on the brain. You're such a big musical fan, obviously. Your Priscilla and everything else. But Jersey Balls, I think it is. Yeah.
The team from Jersey.
They were in full swing.
Yeah, and Red Hill. So I think Jersey finished top. Red Hill finished second. I think, from what I understand, Jersey put a complaint in that Red Hill played a player that wasn't registered, and then Red Hill countered it and basically put a complaint in against Jersey. They both got points deducted, and the team that they kept very quiet and finished third went up.
Yeah, crazy situation, really. That is like.
But it didn't get decided for weeks though. So like, I think the season finished. It's weird at the moment, isn't it? Because a lot of leagues finished ages ago. Like the Premier League finished. This will come out on Sunday. It feels like some of these leagues finished like months ago.
Yeah.
And some are still going on.
Yeah, it's very odd.
Like very strange. Like it's nearly June. Like this should be the summer holidays.
Yeah, it should be by now. But hey, anyway, well, we're almost there. We have got one more game to play from our perspective, Stu. We do have the one more game, and let's go back to where it all started. Josh Neufville.
Yes, we digressed.
Yes. Yeah, unbelievable. Like, he is easily our most important player. If you take Josh Neufville out of the team, we are screwed. I made this point, I think, on the WAP guest book the other day. You look at Notts County without McGoldrick. Yeah. Imagine us without Neufville. And I know people say about, and you've said it already, about how solid we are as a team and how we don't give things away. But if you take Neufville out and his pace out, then essentially teams are going to find it so much easier to defend against us and be able to put more numbers forward because they don't have the threat of him on the break. So without him, I think we would be struggling massively. No doubt. The goal is outstanding. The touch and the finish. I must admit, from my perspective, I didn't get out of my seat straight away because I actually thought it was just dropping wide because of the angle I was at. So when it actually saw it land in the net, I was like, oh, blimey, how has he done that? Unbelievable goal. I would say, I know James Tilley's, what was it? It was the Accrington goal, wasn't it? The last minute equaliser. Yes. But we should have won goal of the season, but Maycock got it for the goal against Milton Keynes. I'm not going to deny anyone a goal of the season for scoring against Milton Keynes. But had we waited until the end of the season, then Josh is for me, just because of that touch. And how quick, like he said, he had to keep composure, and it's something they'd worked on and looked at, and the opportunity, when the chance comes, keep your composure. And he did, and it's such an intelligent goal. And the progress he has made, I think, since joining us has been outstanding. And it's just a shame that we might not be able to get anything for him.
Yeah, and like, obviously he was on loan. He was at Luton, then went on loan to Sutton. I had a couple of Sutton mates who just like were gutted. I still remember when we signed Josh Neufville. My mates were like gutted, and then they realised we nicked Omar Bigel as well, and they were even more pissed off.
And now they're back in non-league.
Yeah, but they all said really good winger. And you think he come to us as a winger. We've gone with the fullbacks. We've changed Tilley to a fullback, a wing back, and Josh Neufville as a wing back. I think defensively was always going to be a challenge. I think he's got better and better defensively.
Yeah,
he's better when he goes in the box now. So when he get on a standing run, on a standing start, he will beat most. His pace off the gun. don't know what I was saying, but you know what I mean?
I
He
know
will
what you
get,
mean. Off
he
the
will get,
box.
he will get man the back of people, and it was just sometimes his delivery wasn't great. He still wasn't, but there was a couple of times he got behind after the goal. He got behind and pulled it back rather than he was always go near stick or drill it. He actually reversed it, and I think Mate Stevens got blocked off. But it was just like you can see his game develop the whole season. And I thought defensively against Jody Jones, so they switched the sides. They wanted to show Jody Jones down the line. So every time was like, he wants to come back in and switch and stuff like that. But Jody Jones didn't want to go. He knew in a race he was never gonna. And I think it was one point where I think there was a standing race and Josh won it. He recovered. Do you know what? I think we're going to struggle. I just think we're going to struggle to keep holding him. One, he's out of contract, and he deserves the right now to see what's available from us and from other clubs. But I think, was he 24 now? I think he's getting better and better each season. Physically, he's strong. Mentally, hey, look, if we can get promoted and put a decent contract offer in and keep him, that would be great. And I think I think he's a loyal sort of person.
Yeah.
I think if we go up, I think hopefully we could put him on a contract, and then like Jack Curry, wish him well a season later, because I think he's destined for championship level, in my opinion. But yeah, what a player! And he swept all the awards, didn't he? I can't remember what he won 3 awards, didn't he? Was it Players Player, Player of the Year, and something else? But it's difficult, isn't it? Because as we said, it doesn't feel like we've done the awards because we did it on a video. It feels I can't really quantify who won what because it feels like it just feels a little bit like noise. But hopefully he gets the biggest trophy on Monday, and he can celebrate in front of. I'm being told at the moment 28,000 tickets we have sold.
Yeah, 28,000 at the moment.
Where they all come from? Like these glory hunters.
Yeah, that's it. Hangers on coming along for the big day out. As is always the case. I mean, Stu, I've been at Wembley with 40,000 Luton fans in the past. This is what happens when you get to Wembley. It's always what happens. Against Warsaw, before we talk about Warsaw, it's not really fair to play the final in England when there's an English team in it. But, it's like, it is what it is. Last word on Notts County. Fair play to their fans for keeping up an atmosphere. I loved K Sera Sera. We're going to Shrewsbury. I thought fair play.
Was that what they were singing?
Yeah.
Fair play. Fair play.
Yeah, and the manager has since parted company with them, so it'll be interesting to see what road they go down, because they're clearly a club looking to get promoted. I don't think they're too fussed about how they get promoted, so it might mean a change in style, change in management, change in tactics. We don't know. It's difficult when you've got a group of players that have been taught how to play a certain way for so long, but who knows, they might try something a little bit different to get themselves back up the league. So I think Notts County, if I've got this right, not Notts County and Luton, 2 clubs that were in the last old Division 1 before it became the Premier League, and they just missed out.
Notts County definitely was. I remember going Luton possibly, Luton possibly. Yeah, do you know what, Notts County? Do you know what? I thought Wimbledon fans were respectful as well. Like the fact, and I know people going, "Oh, why don't let's run on the pitch?" Hey, look, didn't bother me. I was really pleased we didn't go on the pitch. But it also meant that we could actually clap Notts County off in the West End.
I did, because I thought, fair.
And I thought that was really, Alex Bass, gutted for Alex Bass, from a personal level. I think he's a really top guy. Bashir Maynard got a round of applause off there. Do you know what? Yeah, their fans were good. I thought their fans were good. They were moaning. Let's be fair. Leading up to it, they were moaning about everything. I think they were just moaning about playing football in the end.
Yeah.
But fair play to them. And they put it takes 2 to tango. Let's be fair. We could have run out. I watched the full game back, Tuesday, Wednesday, and the second half. I knew we were on top, but wow, we should have blown them away. Like I knew the chances that Marcus Brown had were good. I didn't realise they were that good.
Yeah.
We were sitting with Lyle Taylor. It was quite funny. Lyle was commentating. He was full of praise for Josh. It was funny. He was going, "Look, it's a good goal, but you don't realise how good that touch is. Like that touch is."
The touch.
But then Lyle goes, "But yeah, to be fair, I probably would just hit on the volley and scored."
Yes. Of course he would.
But he was saying with the Marcus Brown, he just felt he had too much time. Had too much time, really, because he could have 2, 3, 4 touches when really he didn't need to have that many touches.
Yeah.
I was really surprised because I think Marcus Brown is a good finisher.
Yes.
But wow. And the Matty Stevens header. just shows the form he's going through. But maybe he's just saving the goals for the final.
Let's hope so. But that header, as good a save as it was from Bass, it shouldn't have had the opportunity to save it. He's got to score there.
Yeah, look, we're not forwards, but you could have gone anywhere, like where it went. But you could have gone anywhere. You could have literally just glanced it into the corner. Yeah. Hey, look, it's a good save. Alex Bass is a really good goalkeeper for the level. Let's be fair, right? And you wonder whether other goalkeepers might have saved it, but you just don't give him a chance, do you? But
No.
Hey, look, I don't know if Notts County deserved to lose that by 2 or 3-0 because I thought I'd say the first leg they were very, very good, but we should have made it a lot. Because I was still not too comfortable because you don't want to get too excited because Wembley is such a prize. It's such an occasion. You don't want to get your hopes up. And I didn't celebrate really until the final whistle. You just don't want to be taken away from you because we've been to Wembley 9 years ago and it's such a good day out. And the excitement that we've seen this week with, let's be fair, right? We've got some really sad statue people who are watching. I know mates who are counting dots on the Wembley thing to see how many we've sold.
On the seating plan. Yeah.
This is the life that people have. Like Wembley is just making people like really weird. But it's such an occasion. So yeah, I'm pleased we got there.
The lack of a pitch invasion, I do wonder. I thought Charlton's and Warsaw's were a little bit over the top. Charlton's especially. But
Charles' manager, let's be fair, he praised the Lord.
He did. Well, he is
he's
devoted.
Religious, isn't he?
Yes, he is a devoted Catholic. So
and he's a devoted camera watcher now as well because he definitely put an eye on the camera.
I think he was very aware that the camera was on him when he did that. But it's interesting, Stu. You know what? It's been it was in the where did I read it? Was it in the paper today? I read it as well. There is a noticeable increase in people in sport displaying their, we'll say, Christian religion.
Yeah.
And you see it more and more. And he's Eze, wasn't it? Eze, the Crystal Palace goal scorer in the FA Cup final. First thing he said after he scored, he said it's in God's plans. I am very much of the opinion, completely away from football for a minute, you are going to see in the next few years, a massive increase in people publicly displaying their faith when it comes to Catholicism and Christianity. It's on a big upswing, people. Just watch out for this trend. It's coming. But anyway.
I've got no issue with it. Let's be fair, right? Football, we said it before, football can be a lonely sport. These players are heroes 1 minute and the next minute they're just basically released by clubs because they're no worth. Yeah. So, John, I'm glad I got something to believe in. I think we've got a few that, you see quite a lot of players that praise. Like, to be fair, I remember seeing with Liam Trotter, like, just praying that he would get a touch. Like, so I'm joking. If Liam Trotter turns up to a game, he'll be a referee, so we're probably booked to start off with.
I tell you, he'll take revenge on this podcast by sending all our players.
There's your yellow card.
Yeah, come into the stands and send me off, and I say a fair play, Liam. To be honest with you, can't argue with that.
But I just felt the Charlton one was a little bit dramatic, like OTT.
The whole thing, with the pitch invasions and stuff like that. The Charlton one was just crazy ridiculous, and the Warsaw one a little bit too as well. But in their defence, what they had that we didn't have is they had late goals to get them over the line, as it were. Whereas I think we'd sort of accepted quite early on in the game that we were going to Wembley, so we sort of were celebrating already. So we could sort of calm ourselves down. We didn't have that sort of instant reaction.
Well, the funny one was, I don't know if you've seen the Southend Forest Green. Southend fan took out his match-winning penalty person.
His match-winning penalty person. That sounds like something that Joey sleeps with in Friends at night.
But it's interesting. We look at the National League. So the teams that finished National League do it differently, don't they, with the playoffs, where they have quarterfinals and semi-finals, and then obviously York and Forest Green, who finished second and third, I'm not too sure what order, had to wait a bit longer. So people were saying, well, they've had to wait too long. They haven't had a game for 2 weeks. Whereas Southend beat Rochdale and Oldham beat,
I think, Solihull. Oh, Halifax. Okay.
A lot of old league teams have got into those National League things, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they're sort of saying, well, they had to play an extra game, but they were on momentum. I watched the York versus who's the other team who got in? I've forgotten now.
York and Oldham?
Oldham, that's it. York, right? This way of having to play football, playing out at the back, and York scored I think they were top goal scorers in the National League, right? But I watched it. You can see mile off. Oldham were going to press high, let them. Their goalkeeper literally throws the ball out to their defender with his basically looking at the goalkeeper, got nowhere to go, and they score it. I don't know if you've seen a clip. The actual live feed went down.
Yeah,
they didn't know until they saw the replay that Oldham had scored.
Yeah.
Which is, I just looked at the New York game and Oldham set up perfectly to beat basically a passing team.
Yeah.
The interesting thing, I know we're going to go on to obviously talk about Warsaw, but we both play without possession. We don't want possession.
Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah.
So I think you're going to see a lot of balls kicked in a touch. Go, no, you have it, you have it, you have it. And if you look at the game against Chesterfield, it probably was the best matchup for Walsall because Chesterfield want the ball, Walsall don't want the ball. So it's interesting, but yeah, the playoffs are just and do you know what I like playoffs? You know, we've got the playoff start. It's really weird that you've got the most expensive game or the biggest game financially in football starting off the playoff weekend.
Yes,
so we've got Sheffield United, Sunderland. We're recording it today, and then you've got Leynoy and Charlton. So pleased with Jack Curry. Jack Curry, by the way, he probably will get back into the Championship that Oxford denied him. And then you've got us finishing off on the bank holiday Monday. So I love playoffs. Absolutely love playoffs.
The Oldham live feed dropping out. It's happened to me on 2 occasions that I recall watching games on TV. I remember once, not just me, famously, this affected everybody. If you remember when Everton beat Liverpool in the FA Cup on ITV, and they cut to was it a Tic Tac advert or something like that?
Yes.
Just as Everton scored the winning goal in extra time. So everyone missed that one. And then once I was one of the unlucky ones watching a game on a feed on ITV during the 2010 World Cup. I think we played the USA and we went 1-0 up back in the days when I cared about these things. And the feed came back in with England players all celebrating. We realised we'd actually scored, but ITV just being absolutely rubbish. And Oldham, I'm sorry, go on.
And what's going on? England, I didn't realise England are playing 2 games after the season's finished. Like, what is...
What's the... I must admit, I know we've had Sven and we've had Fabio Capello, and now we've got another one, but I'm at the point now where I'm kind of like, what are we even... Why? Like, you're not representing... How? I don't get it.
It's the qualifiers. Do you know what did crack me up, right? Ivan Toney has been selected. And someone social went, he's been riding camels for all season.
Oh, wow.
I was like...
Has he actually been picked up?
Yeah, he's been picked in there. Jeez. So they've got Andorra and someone else.
Where's he playing now? Saudi Arabia? Or Qatar?
One or two, it's that way.
And Ivan Toney?
Yes.
Is gambling allowed in those countries?
Well, he got all his gambling out of the way before he got there, didn't he?
Must have done.
But yeah, so he's in the squad. So it's weird. See, like Thomas Tuchel was talking about the Club World Cup starts 5 days after the game. Well, it's basically a camp finishes, and they go to the Club World Cup, which I'm going to watch.
But there's no break. It's just
there's no
24/7. There's no 365.
There's no break at all, and you know we're going to be the same. Let's be fair. We're going to players are going to go on holiday probably this week. After Monday, they're going to go out to celebrate hopefully the season, and then they probably got what we normally come back mid to end of June from memory.
Yeah,
they probably got 3. What makes me laugh is remember last season chatting. So we had a really long summer last season. I remember chatting to James Ball, and I think James Ball said he managed to get 4 holidays because he had so much time. I remember saying to me, he was going, well, I went here, went there. He goes, I just had so much time, so I just went on more holidays.
Yeah.
It was this year, he's going to have 1 holiday, I reckon, because they're going to probably have 3 weeks.
Yeah.
4 weeks before they're back in. Yeah, everyone's released their retain list and stuff. And
yeah, I know.
Again, really weird when you see them out of we have no idea what division we're in. So Craig Coate will be getting no holiday. He will be on the road and doing deals as he does.
And before we finally get onto our game with Warsaw and what that will mean for us, win or lose, just want to touch on the Oldham Southend fiasco.
Yes,
that has developed, in which Wembley Park is shut, so there's no tubes. I think there's only one station that's actually open for people to get to. I think that's Wembley Central, potentially. So the overground from Marylebone is the only way fans get there on the train. So they have reduced limited capacity to something like 17,500 tickets for each club. These are big former Football League clubs. Getting to Wembley, Oldham, to my memory, have not played at Wembley since I saw them at Wembley in the FA Cup semi-final in 1994. So I've got a cousin who is an Oldham season ticket holder.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might remember meeting some of his family at
Was that
Curzon Ashton? Yes. Yeah,
Well, it was
yeah.
freezing, absolutely freezing, and then we could see the goal before we started. Well,
yeah.
Sort of.
We were 3-0 down with 10 minutes. What a memory that one is. Jeez, that was a great day, to be honest with you. That's so much fun. But yeah, so these clubs are going to take so many. Their attendance, in theory, should actually be higher than ours, I think, by the end of it. If we think Warsaw sort of sold about 17,000, which is very impressive because it's a lot of flights to have to get. So about 55,000. I think Oldham and Southend would actually get more than that. They won't be able to now. I'm not sure where the blame lies with this one. The game is obviously earmarked for Wembley and scheduled in for Wembley a long, long time in advance. So I think the decision to close the station would have come after they knew that there was a game on. But I don't know that for certain. Whichever way you look at it, we've known for at least 6 months that this was going to be the case. Or it could have been known for. So why now at the 11th hour are only things being done to address it? Could they not have found an alternative venue if that was really going to be
Well, I'm just remembering when Craig Coate was at Solihull Moors, they played at the London Stadium.
Oh, London Stadium, they did, yeah. They did,
I'm not too sure why they played. I'm not too sure why they played there, to be truthful. But yeah, do you know what? Not that I want to try and defend anybody, but normally the National League final, if it had been Forest Green against York, then you don't know it. Do you know what I mean? York, big club, but miles away. And Forest Green do well to get anybody because they're all knackered because they can't eat meat.
They've got no energy.
Do you know what I mean? So they can't travel that far in one day. So maybe that's what it is. I think they need to scrap the decision. Do you know what I mean? Like Southend, massive club in Essex, no one else around them. Probably Chelmsford, the nearest ones, but they're not even a league club. And obviously, what's gone on with Southend, nearly going, having such troubles with their ownership. And like I say, Oldham, a proper old time club. So hopefully, I think there's been a lot of petitions. Sadiq Khan sort of going to him and going, look, surely just for one weekend. And you know what? Wembley is still paying off the blooming debt they've got on building the stadium. That's why every game's at Wembley. Yeah. So Wembley will probably want more and more people there, won't they? So hopefully that sorts it out. But obviously, from another point of view, if we're not successful getting into the league, we've got Barnet and either Southend or Oldham. So good clubs to come back in the league and League Two.
Well, do you know what? I'm going to benefit whatever happens because in my quest to visit all 91 legitimate football grounds in the Football League, I never made it to Morecambe. I never made it. And now I don't have to. And Barnet and one of Oldham or Southend coming up, I've done all those. So I actually gain a ground, which makes up for losing Goodison Park. So there we go.
Well, Goodison Park hasn't gone. The women's team now have taken ownership of it.
Yeah, but I haven't been to the new, I don't know, Big Dickinson Hill, whatever it's called, stadium that they've created.
The Everton stadium looks amazing. I don't understand, right? Maybe me being a little bit of a drama queen or self and safety, but they built it next to the docks. They built it next to water.
Yeah.
If Mill will go there at one point, it's going to be a carnage, isn't it?
It's going to be
I suppose Fulham Everton is a derby now, though, isn't it? Because they're both on the docks.
According to your geographical knowledge, Stu, yes, Everton versus Fulham is now a Dockland derby.
The only game you can get there by water.
They could actually probably swim their way. I would like someone to attempt that one. I don't know if it's actually possible, but hey, I'd like to see them.
It does look spectacular, to be fair, the Everton ground.
I don't know, do you know? For me, it just looks like another new. They all look the same.
Yeah, do you know what? I think it looks spectacular from the outside the stadium view. Yeah. Although, did you hear that Everton? So there was a situation, I think, where Liverpool fans were when they won the league or something. There was loads of red flares that had been bought, and apparently Everton fans had put some blue flares in it amongst it when it went up. Yeah. So Everton did the same thing for their final game. Had loads of blue flares, and of course Liverpool fans, being as they are, put red flares in them, and you can see it from miles. I think it looks spectacular. And so Liverpool, we went to Liverpool many years ago when you couldn't wait to get out of it. The dock areas and stuff now, Liverpool is a very it's been built up massively, isn't it? The Dockland area and stuff like that. And it just looks spectacular. Apparently very, very steep,
Yes.
the stands. So yeah, I'm not too sure about that. But you got to try and pack people in. Again, will Everton do? If you look at Everton, when you think about it, teams that go to new stadiums normally have a bit of a hangover, don't they?
Yeah, it might take them a little while to adjust.
Everton can't afford to have that because they've been quite rubbish for many years.
Yes. Although, from my limited knowledge of elite, quote unquote, elite football, top flight football, whatever you want to call it these days, they have finished and will finish above both Tottenham and Manchester United, who played a European final this week. So, what that tells you about the state of European football, or the just total domination of the Premier League, I don't know. I keep hearing these things about how many English clubs could be in Europe next season. And I'm not sure that's a particularly good thing. I also, as I said to you earlier, I'm not sure particularly how English any of these clubs actually are anymore. But anyway, that's a conversation for another day.
I find it amazing that you win the Europa League and you get qualification for the Champions League.
Yeah, it never used to happen, did it? When the UEFA Cup.
Yeah, sure, you just defend your title. So you defend the Europa League.
Yeah.
But it's quite embarrassing when you think about it in terms of, I think, what, Tottenham's 17th or something in the Champions League, which is worth £100 million for them. So, and if you look at the Tottenham manager, which I can never pronounce his name, so I'm not going to try to
Postecoglou.
Yeah, the Australian guy.
Yeah.
He basically says that he realised, a lot of the interviews, he realised early on that Tottenham weren't going to do anything in the league and concentrated on that because it was entry to the Champions League. How crazy is that? You basically, but the Champions League is worth so much money, isn't it? So, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, it is what it is.
Palace will be in there. Sorry, Palace will be in there, by the way. So that'd be that'd be an experience for any team that has to go anywhere near Norwood on a European night.
I really hope they get a club. I don't know what the situation is. I really hope they get a club from like one of those beautiful sort of Italian or Spanish cities like Valencia or Napoli or Rome or someone that have to go to Norwood Junction or go to Selhurst train station or Thornton Heath.
They'll probably be thinking, oh, they must play near Buckingham Palace or they must play in a lovely area. 1 second, where's it sending us?
Yeah. You hear Crystal Palace and you go, oh, that's grandiose. Crystal Palace. Wow, this sounds exciting. And yeah, let's go to the Sainsbury's.
Like when you get a flight to London Luton, innit? You get to London Luton, you're like, what? This ain't London.
No. Less said about that at the minute. Anyway, right. Tickets. We mentioned Southend and Oldham and their problems, but tickets for us have seemingly been pretty straightforward by the end of it. I think we're all happy. I know people at the club have been working ridiculous hours to sort all these things out. It was very kind of them to take the ticketing on board to save people £3 on a booking fee, which I believe I've read.
Yes.
I thank them for their efforts. I do wonder if we would do that again. Do you know, Stuart, reminds me when we went to, like, when we had Tottenham at Wembley in the FA Cup, when Tottenham were playing at Wembley at the time. And we tried to do something with tickets there where we were trying to sort of coordinate it so everyone could sit together. And we basically created a lot of work for ourselves, which was perhaps unnecessary. And it all comes from the best of intentions. And I applaud people for doing it. But I do wonder if we'd think twice about it and go, do you know what? Sometimes you have to weigh things up and go, it's great, we're going to save people £3 on a booking fee or whatever, but the flip side to that is the amount of stress and pressure we're going to put ourselves under. So thank you for doing it. It came with all the best intentions, the best will in the world, but similar to the Tottenham situation, which became a little bit of a problem, I think. Perhaps sometimes discretion is the better part of valour, maybe.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see why the decision was made. I think you're right. It saved people £3. Don't get me wrong, the prices for Wembley have been reasonably cheap compared to many years. So it's great the club done it. Yes, obviously I know Luke and Danielle and Alfie. It was bad enough with the Notts County quick turnaround, wasn't it, for tickets, and obviously for that. So decision was made. I think it was a really good decision in terms of, I think it's gone well compared to how it could have gone. But yeah, you have to weigh up, don't you? You have to weigh up. Was it worth? I know people have been moaning that they had to go to the ground if they wanted to have more than 6 people. Well, that's your own fault for having more than 6 friends. I didn't have that problem. So
that's just greedy.
No, but then I know one of my friends, Claire, they literally on the Monday, they came out Monday, didn't they? Is that right? I think on the Monday night, they'd done a WhatsApp call between 4 groups who had 6 each. And they managed to get 4 rows and managed to get seats all together.
Yeah, so yeah.
So it was possible. It was possible. It just needed a little bit of coordinating. But I think we're all in that little corner. I know I'm in 129. I think you're not too far away
Yeah.
from there, are you?
Yeah. 128, I think.
So it'll be good. It'll be good. I'm really looking forward to it. Wembley is. I look back at 2016. I think we all took it in, didn't we, and stuff like that. But I just think it'll just be bigger, better,
Badder.
bigger,
Sorry,
better, badder. Can't
yes.
wait. I really can't wait. And like I say, for me personally, it'd be nice. So I've got my son there. I've been teaching him the Wembley song. Wembley, Wembley. So we keep singing at the moment.
Yeah.
Bless him. And also we got our good friend Mark Hendricks and his son coming.
Yes. Flying over from Switzerland.
Although he has to have the game decided in 90 minutes, which cracks me up.
Get his flight back.
When he told me, I said, "Do you know what? I think it's going to be a really tight game, Mark."
Yeah, I must admit, sorry, Mark, but I mean, if you're a betting man for this particular fixture, you are going 0-0 in penalties, aren't you? As you said, Stu, neither team wants the ball, so I think we might well be finding our way all the way.
Is it worth having a look and seeing how long the ball's? I don't know where you get these stats. Must be a stat somewhere of how long the ball is in play on a game. Because I reckon ours would probably be one of the lowest between us and Warsaw.
Yeah.
Because like I say, we don't like the ball, do we?
No.
Don't want the ball.
Don't want it. Don't want it.
You have it. No, you have it. You have it. You have it. Yeah. Oh, I just love the way football's played sometimes. You know, possession is supposed to be king. They keep saying if you got the ball, you got control. Well, the playoff semis didn't go that way, did they?
Possession is 9/10 of the law, apparently. So there you go. Great thing is we don't charge people for possession anymore, so it's fine. Anyway, right. Warsaw there. Let's have a quick look. So who do we have to worry about from the Polish opposition that we face? I think we have already mentioned many times on this podcast about Ryan Sturk in centre midfield. That'll be a hell of a battle, I think, between him and Jake Reeves and Ali Smith in there. Taylor Allen, who scored against us.
I think he's hit double figures. I think he's hit double figures.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
I think when I was looking at one of the reviews, again, they're not the top 20. They were saying that their centre halves, I think, have scored like 15, 16 goals between them. The three centre halves, which is quite impressive. I think they're our top goal scorers, or one of the top goal scorers. I think the battle in midfield will be good. Hippolyte coming back in will make it a lot different within there. But yeah.
Albert Adoma, who I doubt he'll be starting.
No, hasn't for a little while.
But could really make a difference if he comes on. Jamil Matt, we know, is a handful as well. Charlie Lakin, Alfie Chang. There is lots of. I think he was in Harry Potter, was he? But so there's lots of. They have players that can hurt us, and I think that is exactly as you said, Stu. That probably means I have a feeling we've got, as we've already said, our threats. We need more goals. We don't need more goals. We need goals from our forward players. But I think the teams I envisage just cancelling each other out, to be honest with you. It could be a great occasion, but not the most entertaining 90 minutes, 120 minutes.
We both play with three at the back, both play with wing backs. We play more of a three in the midfield. They play more of a 4 and a 1. I think it would be a case of... I think it'd be more of a case of what wing backs win the battles. Yeah. So it will be a very much, that's how it normally works. Who turns the 3 into a 5 and that sort of side of it. I don't want to say I don't think Jamal Matt is a massive fool to worry about. If I'm being totally honest with you.
No, I just think it turns into a battle. I just think it's a battle.
But battles we do well with. You think about with Joe Lewis, you expect Joe Lewis to probably win the battle with Jamal Matt. Adoma's great, but he can't. He's going to impact the game late on that side of it. Yeah, do you know what? With us having, I like the 3 we've got with Jake Reeves, Smith, and
Hippolyte.
I always him in Harbottle. I just feel with Hippolyte in there, the strength, the pace, he makes a massive difference to that midfield. On that side of it, I feel like sometimes the ball sticks a lot more when it's there, and then obviously Tilly can get in, or we play Josh Neufville on the other side. Our issue is goals. There's no doubt about that. Marcus Brown and Matty Stevens to me are two different. They're just two that I just don't see them as a pairing. However, we've had a week training, more than a week, probably 7-8 days since Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, and from what I'm hearing, training is really, really good, really on it. Feels like we've turned a corner with how we are, the mentality side of it. And do you know what I really enjoyed? Obviously, we didn't celebrate too much after the away win at Notts County, but we didn't overdo it either.
No.
On Saturday, it felt very much like the experience in that squad is going, we've got a job to do. And we've got a lot of experience, obviously, with Jay Reeves. So I like the attitude. But yeah, look, I think if we win, it's going to be a 1-0. Surprisingly, 1-0 to the Arsenal thing, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I fancy Owen Goodman to keep his 25th clean sheet of the season, which is just an amazing thing. Obviously, he got called up into England under 21s as well, didn't he? So,
He did.
as well as Smimpkin did of
Simpkin.
Simpkin, that's what his name is.
Yeah.
At Warsaw.
Yes. Okay. I'm not sure about his hair.
To be fair, I don't comment on people's hair.
Fair. That's not true. You commented on mine several times in the life.
Yeah, true.
We'll see how it goes. I think key, like you mentioned the wing backs there, Stu. Neufville against Gordon, I think
Gordon's decent.
Yes, very good player. That'll be a hell of a battle. So, hey, we'll see. We shall see how it goes. And in terms of preparations, obviously we went to have a look around Wembley the other day, and the players looked around the stadium. I think one of them commented they hadn't seen this many empty seats inside a stadium since their last visit to Milton Keynes. But again, all good preparation. I think Warsaw have done the same. They've flown over. So, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, am I right in thinking if we are successful on Monday and get promoted to League One, it's the first time we've been above a certain team league structure wise?
Not the first time.
So we've done it before. So they are proper shit.
Yeah. I think if I remember rightly, let me get my maths right. So the first time we were in the same league as them was 2016-17. I think they then got relegated the following season, 2017-18. So 18-19, when we had our great escape, I think they were in the division below us that year before coming back up.
That's gonna really piss them off, isn't it? It's a shame, isn't it?
I really don't. The only thing we say about no pressure on us and not the end of the world if we don't go up, but it does mean that if we don't go up, we do have to play them next season, and they probably owe us one over the last couple of seasons. So
yeah, I've got an answer, by the way. So Rocket did answer my question about the special playoff badges that we must wear. Apparently, we have had to get new t-shirts. We've had to get
badges for the final.
New shirts because you can't now easily get the old ones off. So he's had to get new ones. He did answer that, and I said it's a great idea. I was like, we should have golden ones if we get promoted. We should have like golden badges for next season. I think you should do badges for like home and away ones. Like just customize it. I think it'd be great.
It is difficult to get the old ones off. My father was a John Joe O'Toole maker, Stu. We'll get this out of the way very, very quickly because we can't go an episode without doing this. And this is one I think you will get, and a lot of people will get from the cryptic clue.
See, I hate when you put pressure on me. I hate when you do that.
I have faith, Stu. If we don't get it because of the pressure, I know that lots of people listening will get this. Okay, the cryptic clue is let me start that again. He fought the record breakers, and the record breakers won. He fought the record breakers, and the record breakers won.
See, I'm now trying to think who hosted the record breakers, and I can see him, but I can't think what his name was. It might not even be a clue. Record breakers.
Yeah, I mean, it's very much a clue. Otherwise, the whole thing falls apart.
I can't remember his name.
Otherwise, I'm just saying random words.
I'm gonna go for Alan Reeves, just because I laughed so much in a week when he was on stage for the John Scales thing and stuff like that. It just comes to my mind. So okay. Alan Reeves.
It's not Alan Reeves, I'm afraid, Stu. The second one is, however, he is a centre half that has won at Wembley with Wimbledon.
Can I be cheeky and ask it was AFC Wimbledon or Wimbledon?
No. Well, I mean, you can ask it. I'm not going to answer it though.
Ryan Sweeney.
Oh, it's good. It's good, but it's not right. Okay. He is the record appearance holder for Wimbledon FC before he retired from football in 1972.
Oh, don't do this. I do the stadium tour of the history. All my days.
Okay, so if he won at Wembley, so and he
Ron
retired.
Law.
Say it again.
Ron Law.
Nearly.
Mr. Law.
So close.
I can't believe I even got his name wrong. I do this tour so many times. Roy Law, Ron
There
Law.
we go. Roy Law.
Ah,
Smashed it.
and of course,
We got there.
Roy. What was his name? Roy Record Breakers.
Roy Castle.
Ah,
See, it works because the phrase should be he fought the law and the law won. But he fought the record breakers because of Roy Castle. So there we go. So yeah, Roy Law, FA Amateur Cup final winning captain in 1963.
what made you go anywhere near like black and white days?
Ebony and Ivory coming together in perfect harmony. No, it's Wembley, the Wembley link. He's a Wembley winner. So I thought we'll have hopefully have some more Wembley winners to choose from the next time we record.
As we're doing this live, I've just got a message from someone who's been at the ground today. Apparently, the museum, the shop, and the tickets were very, very busy this morning.
You do surprise me.
So, hey, could get over that 28,000.
Yeah, I think we'll hit close to, if not break 30 by the end of it. I think we probably will do. We'll see.
And then the 30,000, if we're successful, trying to get into a 2,000 capacity box park.
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere near box park.
No.
Like hell on earth.
I think it's been tarnished and probably still needs a little bit like sanitizing after Palace were in there last week.
The club obviously have to do these tweets because they're sponsored to because of the agreement and whatever. So it's obviously a contractual obligation they had to do it. But the club tweeted something about Box Park and selling the experience and stuff like that with a video of England fans singing along to Atomic Kitten. And I thought that looks like the worst thing in the world.
What, the Atomic Kitten could be the lead singers?
Just the whole thing of a group of football fans singing along to Atomic Kitten inside Box Park, Wembley, I suppose it was. It's just, no, it's not for me. Listeners, you might be surprised to hear that one. But yeah, this is not for me.
I'm gutted in a way. I still remember 2016 going back to Kings Meadow. I still remember that. I think it was just unique. So it's a shame. It's a shame we can't go back to Plough Lane. I'm guessing there's probably some sort of police advice around that. I may still head back there and just sit on the Womble bench. And I don't know. It'd be. Let's just worry about that if we win. But yeah, I probably won't do the box park. 2,000 people in that sort of closed environment doesn't really do it for me. But if we are successful, I'm sure the Will Nightingale testimonial, which is the following Saturday, will be a celebration.
Is it Saturday or Sunday?
I think it's. I don't know. It's on the weekend. I thought it was Saturday.
Is it the 1st of June? Should I just look this up now? So let's just look this one up now.
Because let's be fair, right? The actual testimonial list of players, it's just, and you can tell how popular Will Nightingale is as a person. You can tell by the names that are going to come back. Bayo's coming back. Ayabasal.
Jeez.
Exactly. Like, no, let's be fair, right? Would he have grown? Would he have grown at all?
I doubt it's June.
Way anymore. It's one of the players, obviously, because of where he's playing, that you don't get a chance to see. So it's going to be really great to see some of the players come back to Plough Lane.
It's the 1st of June, Stu. Sorry, I'm just laughing because I apologise to whoever wrote this if I'm wrong, but this seems like an AI written article. It's no surprise that our popular homegrown defender has enlisted a galaxy of Don stars from the past.
Love that. Love that. A galaxy.
I mean, it's a great chocolate, but yeah.
Let's be fair, right? AI is amazing. Right? I use AI because I don't know if it's got a stew mode, because like that'd be hilarious, right? But it has like sort of professional, funny. Oh, it's amazing. Like I wish I had it when I was at school. I probably would have done well in English.
Can I get T-shirts made up for 9 Years podcast with the phrase stew mode on? Right.
Yeah, do you reckon Bayo comes out in a beast mode on like T-shirt or whatever? But the lineup, look, it'll be great. I'm sure Will is going to be celebrating or wishing us well at Wembley, although he's playing in the playoff.
Yeah, Ross County. Yeah.
Playoff. So, hey, look, it'd be great I think for Will, it'll be great. I'm sure there'll be people there, but there probably will be even more people there if it turns out to be a celebration, maybe at Plough Lane. Although most of them probably gone on their holidays, aren't they? But it will be, yeah. I think I'm looking forward to it. Really looking forward to it. Never had, like, I can't remember the last player to have a testimonial would have been Alan Cork. Surely.
I don't recall one.
Not had one in the Premier League years, did we?
No, I don't. Not that I knew of. No, I don't think so. So.
I think it's the first Wimbledon testimonial I've ever been to, and couldn't be a better servant in terms of Will.
Yes, absolutely. Well, there we go. Right, we're off to Wembley.
Are we?
We are. I'm sure we will see many of you there. But yeah, let's see how we go, and obviously we'll talk through the events next week. But for now, Stu, we shall go get our foam fingers, our scarves, our hats, our programs, whatever else. Not our physical tickets. Didn't have time for that one this week. Maybe I'll come back to that next week. But yeah, and that's it. So Stu, thank you very much for joining me this week.
Thank you. It's been fun.
Thank you everybody for listening. Alexa Bliss. Bag first, built last, 2 + 2 = 4, and we shall speak to you again next week.